imagine what's going to happen next week. So I want to introduce to you guys someone that I'm so excited to have on the team call. And I also am fortunate enough to say that I have learned from her. I have been inspired from her. And she's a friend. So often when you hear that Jess and I went to NYKO in 2014, it was our very first event, and we were a little bit terse, right? A little bit skeptical, like a lot of it. We were, why are these people hugging us? And we saw this woman walk across the stage, and there was confetti, and they might as well just had fireworks in there. And she had just been announced the 100th millionaire. And Jessica and I were looking at each other thinking, oh my gosh, this company already has 100 millionaires. And Jessica says, what number are you going to be? And I was like, what? And so when I tell you that this woman inspired us, like there is a pivotal moment that Jess and I sat next to each other and not only realized that we would be millionaires in this company, we absolutely declared it, and we learned from her, and we were so inspired by her story, so inspired by her systems, and fortunately have worked cross-line. You know, a lot of people in her team have helped us and vice versa, and it's a treat. And I'm going to tell you a personal story before I read her bio so you guys realize who you're learning from. I had only been in the company like a couple months, and she put me on her team call, and I was so nervous. I was like, oh my God, what am I going to say? I mean, like my stomach was sick. I was like sweating all day. She doesn't even know this. I'm like, why? I think she might have like the wrong girl. And to this day, I have compliments from that call and just my nutrition background. So it's a huge treat to have Alexis on the call tonight. So for those of you that do not know her, she's a retired high school guidance counselor and educator of 21 years. She found her passion in health and nutrition and became a certified health coach. Little did she know this would empower her to become one of the top 5 income earners within her company. Of course, Isagenix. Currently, Alexis is a 7-figure income earner. You guys, that's annually, not cumulatively. She's a trainer, teacher, creative business solutions creator, and lives her true passion by helping others retire from their full-time careers through network marketing. Over her career, she has become the 100th millionaire, built a massive business with earnings of approximately $2 million a year. She's received awards such as top 4 overall income earner, Woman of the Year, top business builder, top 4 overall fastest growing business, and number 4 top platinum business. You guys, she is so fun. She is so amazing. And it's a total treat to have you on. So hi, Alexis.
Oh my God. Thank you so much, Lauren. You're so funny. Like you were amazing on that call. Just so you know, Todd is like, you know, we got this. Yeah, she's going to be amazing. And you like blew it away. So it's funny to hear how we actually feel, right? Like we never know, but you definitely pulled it off like you were not nervous at all. So, and I thank Jessica thank you both for having me on the call tonight. It's definitely an honor. Love your team. You guys are amazing. You're in full momentum. So always learning from everyone. So it's just amazing how we can all collaborate. So thank you.
Well, you're so sweet to say that, and thank you. And it is fun. And there's some people that have been with us for 8 years that absolutely know who you are. They've seen you train. And then other people are like, who is this? Like, where is she from? Like, where is she on our team? And, you know, it's fun with new people to be able to just be inspired and learn from a lot of stuff. So I'm just going to go right into this and honor your time and start with some questions. I know it's later on the East Coast, but I would love for you to just tell everyone your story. I mean, I know I told them a little bit about your background, but how this came into your life, kind of what you were doing before, all the jobs you were working before, which I remember. And then if you want to go into kind of our second part, or I'll remind you if you get lost in your story, just what that was like from building in the very beginning and when it really grabbed momentum. Because I think people think it like just happened, you know, and to kind of really walk through like your year 1, year 2 into rapid success.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've actually been in Isagenix now 13 years, which is insane. And when I first started, I was a product user. I literally was introduced by one of my colleagues in the high school that I was working in. I bought my product, my 9-day program with cash. I literally handed him whatever it was, $100 and something, because I said, how do I get this? And he said, well, just give me this amount and I'll bring you the box. So that's how it started. Like I had a box on my desk at work. I did it with a colleague of another friend of mine, and we just cleansed together. And it was really about me just overall health. I did not have to lose weight. I used every product, you name it. I did it under the sun, any kind of cleanse. I was always on a quest for better health. So I remember day 3, I was feeling so great. I was like, okay, well, what happens after these 9 days, which is why we don't sell 9 days. And then they put me on the phone with, Dennis and Mark, who most people don't know, but they put me on an account, right? They opened up an account for me. And I said to them specifically, I do not want anything coming to my house every 30 days. I remember not turning things off, and all of a sudden you have 50 different shades of pantyhose, right? I just didn't want any of that. And they're like, oh no, don't worry, you can cancel it whenever you want. And I was like, okay, good, because I'm going to cancel it. So here we are 13 years later. I've never been off auto ship. I, can't get enough of the products, which I'm sure many people feel the same way. So, I always tell people I did not have a powerful product story. I lost 9 pounds. Nobody noticed. Nobody cared. But I did. For 9 pounds I didn't know I needed to lose. I had better energy, better sleep, all of the things that we hear. That happened to me the first week. So I wanted more. And I just continued with, the products, and I wanted my family and my friends to feel the same way I did. Didn't really know about the business. Just wanted anything that I did, I'm like, oh, we're doing this now. That's just how we were. Right. So, when, my old vice principal said to me, he said, there's a business opportunity. And I'm like, no, not really. He's like, well, you're doing it anyway. Now, mind you, I had my full-time counseling job. I was waitressing at the age of 40, which is not fun anymore. 20, it's fun. 40 is not. I was tutoring after school and on the weekends. I started a health coaching practice that just wasn't really going anywhere. And I thought that was going to be my ticket out of my job. And not that I didn't love the kids, because I did. I was done. I hated the politics, and it was not about education anymore. It was very different after 21 years. And so I said to Jerry, who actually introduced me to Isagenix, I said, all right, fine. I send them to the high school, because I'm not going out of my way to find out about this business, right? So Dennis and Mark came to the high school, and I literally grilled them, which was awful of me to do, right? Because I would hate for someone to have done that to me. They were so kind and genuine. And so they listened and answered every question without you could just feel the passion behind what they were doing. And so they said, you need to come to this event in Mahwah, New Jersey. And I was like, okay. So they said they were going to save me a seat up front. They did. I sat in the back. I didn't know these people. I was by myself. I was like, I'm just going to sit in the back and just kind of observe what's going on. And so what I saw on stage was people holding up their pants, with all of this weight they lost. But then there was a teacher that shared his financial story. He was in upstate New York, and I'll never forget it. He shared that I think he was making a couple $1,000s extra. But when you're in education, a couple $1,000s extra is $1 million, right? And I was waitressing for 8 hours on a Friday or Saturday for $50. So if I hear, someone's making money and I'm already doing it, I'm doing it. And I didn't sit there in the audience and say, well, of course he could do it because he lost 50 pounds. I said to myself, if he could do it, I could do it. He's a teacher. I'm in education. I was a teacher. I can do this. And so that event really was the turning point for my business. And I can't stress enough how important it is to get to live events. I know we are in a weird time of the world, but now that things are opening and we are having events and, whatever celebration, I cannot wait for celebration in Orlando and the vision tours and any Super Saturdays. We're doing a Super Saturday in Sarasota, Florida. Get to any event. I drove with my sister and CG sit-ins 5 hours to upstate New York because there was nothing in New Jersey when I had first started. So we had to drive to any event that we could get to. You name it, we drove to it because they were that powerful. Hearing people's stories, the training is amazing, but actually hearing the stories of real people doing this, and it doesn't have to be like, I didn't resonate with someone saying they made $1 million. I resonated with someone who made an extra $25,000 in a year. And that was powerful to me. So once I went to that event, I came home and I got to work. Whatever that was, I had no idea what it was. Like, I didn't even know what I was doing. Right. I was just like, all right, I'm doing this. And so of course, I told my family we're doing this. And so we're doing it. And not everyone joined me at the same time. I kind of, if you know my sister's story, it was kicking and screaming, not with the products. I actually bought my sister her products for Christmas. She swears I didn't wrap the box. I swear I did, but it changed her life forever when it comes to her health and obviously for her financial blueprint of her life. And so it was a team of 3, really. It was first just me, and then it was my sister, and then it was CG. And I didn't really know CG, right? It was my sister's friend that she bartended with. So it was the 3 of us. That was like our team. And I remember starting team calls, and it was just the 3 of us. And I'm like, should we keep doing this? Like, you think other people are going to get on it? So when I say events are powerful, events are powerful. And that's the beginning of my story as far as, a product user, believed in the products, like passionate, can't live without them. That's how I feel about Isagenix when it comes to the products. Now the business story, completely different.
You're getting that mute. I was like trying to unmute, like hitting, I couldn't get it to unclick. So you guys, it's so amazing. And I love just how honest you are and just how relatable it is. There's so many people that they're like, I don't ever want this coming by door again. I was one of those people, I don't want to be on auto ship. Please don't make sure this is coming. I also think, you didn't say it, but along those same lines, a lot of us are, I don't ever want to post. I'm never putting my pictures up there. And I remember telling Janny, I said, if you tag me in anything, I'm blocking you, like you will get me fired. And now I think I've posted on social media 3 times today. So there is a journey about this, but one of the things with your business story, when you kind of got a hold of that to now where you are, if you know your numbers, because I've heard them in the event, I think it's so powerful, kind of what you made in year 1 and in year 2, and then when it started to change and what that looked like and what do you think happened, and imagine if you had quit. I think Jessica said something a couple weeks ago that we've heard before, but I want to reiterate because it's so important, is that we really have the ability to overestimate what we can earn in year 1 and 2. And at the same time, rapidly underestimate what's possible after year 5 or year 6, and just kind of walk through that for us. That's one of my favorite parts of your story.
Yeah. So my first year in Isagenix, I made an extra $7,000. And for me, $7,000 was incredible. I couldn't believe it. I would literally, I even had a cleaning service before Isagenix. I was cleaning, people's apartments, and it was, yeah. So I did anything I could to make extra money. So when I made an extra $7,000 for doing something that was just natural, right? Sharing products with some of my friends and family at first, that's what it was. That was life-changing for me. So I made, my first year was 7,000. My second year was a little over 15,000. And my third year was 23. And then my fourth year was 64. Now my fourth year, I was like, yes, I hit the jackpot. That to me was my income. Because I was making a 6-figure income as a counselor after 21 years with a master's degree plus, you name every credit I could possibly get. So I could just go up in the pay scale, but I was that was it. I was capped, I was making $106,000. And that was the end of, I wouldn't be able to make any more. So when I made $64,000 and you think about all the tax benefits, that was incredible for me. So the first was 7, 15, 23, 64. And then my 5th year was $900,000. Over $900,000, which I was like, I mean, the bonuses alone were like incredible, right? I mean, I really, it was the compound effect, right? If you stay in the game long enough and you do and you build a team, like we could be master enrollers, but if we're not building an actual team, you're like spinning your wheels as like a salesperson. So it's so important to understand the team building aspect of this business, because that's where the residual income is. So those are my numbers. And every time I think about it, it kind of gives me the chills.
It's amazing. And I don't know if you can see the chat here and everything. And I remember the first time, I think it was David Wood that interviewed you in like a leadership conference. And I remember looking at Jess and saying, did they say 90,000 or like 900,000, you know, because it was so amazing. And that's possible. We've seen that. Now, is that going to happen for everybody? No. Is it possible? Yes. And sometimes it's year 3, sometimes it's year 7. And there's so many people that Jess and I, since we've been here, we've seen that happen too. And even in our own teams, and I think of some of the girls that have been with Jess and I that started, and they're not at 900,000, but it was, they made a 1,000 or 2,000, and then 5,000 or 6,000, you know, and then 10, and now, you know, 5 or 6 years into it, they're at that 50, 60,000, and you go, what's going to happen in another 5 or 6 years? And it really is such a reflection of the lives that have been impacted, you know, through these products or the business. So before I ask you a little bit about the systems that you've put into place to have duplication or what you've done to really build a team, if you were to estimate how many people are in your organization, and then like what percentage of them, you know, are product users compared to business builders, I'd love for you just to talk about that, because I know a lot of us are obviously looking for those big builders, but sometimes forget how important those loyal product users are in terms of the residual income.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think there's like 200,000 people in my downline. And, you know, I have some really great leaders on my team. And as everyone, you know, eventually does, right? And we've met some of our greatest friends through Isagenix for sure. But I will be honest, I am not a master enroller. Like, I am not the person that enrolls 20 people a month. It's never been me in 13 years. I was a steady enroller and a steady builder. And so it was really important for me to show people how they could make money with Isagenix, with products that they loved, right? So, you know, I remember Carol Taylor saying to me, 4 to 6 a month is full-time, right? And I was part-time for a long time and then full-time. So that was always in my head, but it wasn't just, okay, so I'm going to only enroll 4 or 6 people a month. I'm going to enroll 4 or 6 people a month, but I'm going to build those people into a team, right? And that's the power of, and listen, I still have people that ghost me. Like 13 years later, people disappear, right? Like, you know, so it's part of the business. And I always tell people that too, like when you get frustrated in your business, if like, we all lose people. Some people are making significant incomes and they're all of a sudden they're gone. And you're like, wait, how is that even possible? But it's part of the business and it's part of business, right? If you think about it as a brick and mortar, like people don't have the same employees in their small businesses forever. Like people, you know, they move on or whatever the case may be, life happens. So when we understand that this is a business and it's not personal, right? It's not personal, it's business. And so when you're enrolling people, it's so important to show them the opportunity, and every conversation is slightly different. There's not one person, there's not a script that I use. I always have like things that I know I'm going to say in bullet points because I like to be structured and organized, but there's not like a script that I can read off of for each person that I talk to about the business, because we're all just different people. And everyone, you know, I mean, I'm type A, right? Like total type A, like give it to me all in one shot, but not everybody wants that. Like people get overwhelmed. So if that's what we're doing, we're going to lose people that way. So, you know, again, like I wasn't that master enroller, and I'm still the steady builder that I've always been. I'm very consistent. Like I never got into management mode, ever got into management mode, because I knew that that would be the death of my business. And I've watched it happen. I've watched it happen in my own team. I've watched it happen in the company. If you go into management mode, it's the death of your business. Bottom line. I don't even know if I answered that question.
No, you totally did. It was really good. And for those of you that are brand new, what Alexis is talking about with that management road, like Kathy Cooper always says, 80% of your time is recruiting and enrolling, and like 20% is the team development or the podcast, and the personal development. And just like Jessica Rigner, I mean, she leads her team, that she's not asking people to enroll a bunch of people. She's still enrolling people. She's not telling everybody else to rank advance. She's still rank advancing. And it's doing that and bringing new people into the organization, and not just, sitting there supporting everybody else. So I love that. And I think it's not only that it's the death of your business if you don't do that, but it's really inspiring to those. They're saying she's still in it. You debunk every myth of I've gone through my warm market, or there's nobody out there, the things that people want to talk about. So if you were to give us some insight to maybe some of your top systems or the things that you put into place for duplication, what worked really well for your organization?
Well, so when I first started, I was told, I said, so how do I do this? Right. And they were like, oh, well, just go into your back office. There's tons of training back there. And this was when the back office looked very different. And I was like, okay. So I go in the back office and I'm overwhelmed by all of the information. And I thought, okay, no, I need something really simple, and I need steps. I'm an educator. I know what structure and organization is that works well for me. And and it started out simple for myself, and then simple to duplicate, right? Because I'm not going to, I always said I wanted to make this so that, like, at the time it was my 7-year-old nephew could do this, right? Like he could mimic the steps. And I never cared if someone said, well, that's it, that there's no, you don't want to put your ego into this, because that's, again, those are things that are going to really hurt your business. I don't care if somebody calls me a cleanse coach. I don't care if they call me I don't care what they call me. All I know is that I'm going to duplicate what I'm doing so that my team could do the same and create income. Bottom line, call me whatever you want. Doesn't matter to me. The bells and the whistles, I don't need. What I need is duplication and something simple. So I have a system to present Isagenix, whether it's product or business. I have a system on enrolling somebody. I have a system on coaching somebody through their program. Because if we don't coach people through their program and they don't have a great experience, you don't have a business, right? Then you're just like spinning your wheels and there's no retention. And I have a system for social media. So I just teach all of those, like on tonight, every Monday night at 9:30, we do a system call, and, I created them, but I'm still on the call. I'll be late this time, but I'm always on the call, because if I have a new person on there and they ask a question, that's my responsibility to be able to know that this person has a question about one of the systems that we're doing. We put them in rotation in every Monday, every, 6 weeks. So I use, well, when we have new videos, we always, update whatever we need to, but it's always the same. I have a list of questions that I ask for product people, a list of questions that I ask for business prospects. I'm having a conversation with them about it. I'm not robotic, as if I'm taking an interview, but I'm having a conversation so that the person on the other end feels comfortable and they trust me enough to say, I'm in. And I still use my systems to this day. I haven't changed them. I mean, again, we update our information, but everything is duplicatable, because I may be bored with the systems, right? 13 years later, I may be bored, but the person on the other end isn't bored. It's brand new to them. So who am I to change it because I'm bored, right? So when you think about what you're doing, we have to master the mundane of this business, because the person that you're bringing in has no idea what's about to happen.
Jeff and I integrated ATM and PDC and ATM and PDC, and that often, you know, people want to try and do something different. It's like simple works, you know, and when it's overwhelmed, people just don't do anything. And your systems are great. And I appreciate everything you've shared with us and through the company over the years, because it has been really helpful. And some of those systems, which are those discovery questions, what Alexis is talking about, and asking people, you know, on a scale of 1 to 10, how likely are they to change their habits? You know, what 2 meals would you replace shakes with? And that gets people to a close that she could ask those same questions every time she's on an enrollment call. But for that person, it's new. But when someone says, how do you always close with a value pack? She says, here's the 10 questions I ask. And that's the simplicity behind it. And the same with the business. And a lot of that, you know, Kathy Cooper has created for us with the new associate interview. Are you committed to auto ship? Are you going to an event? You know, how much money do you want to make? How much money would significantly change your life? How much time do you have to put into this? That then we can give that roadmap and people share with you, hey, I need to make $500. I need to make $5,000, whatever that is. And where we are doing the same thing over and over, but for that brand new person, they're getting excited to say yes to a health or wealth transformation. So that's absolutely amazing. Alexis, what's your best advice for someone brand new? Like they got enrolled last week, brand new.
Be coachable. Leave your ego at the door and be consistent. You know, consistency is everything. If you post one day and then 2 days goes by, people aren't going to follow you. They're not going to believe that this is something that is worth, you know, you don't want, Lynn Hagedorn, I think, says nobody wants to be your experiment, right? So you want to be coachable, you want to leave your ego at the door, and you want to be consistent.
So good. I love it. You guys, if you are brand new, remember that, write that down, you know, be coachable and be consistent. And one of the things that Jess and I are so fortunate to have had Janie in our lives, but she will to this day say we were two of the most coachable people she worked with. And we give so much of our success to her. I mean, she could have told us to make snow angels naked in the middle of the winter, but it would have gotten us an executive bonus. And we were like on our way to do it. I mean, we just saw what she had. And you have to remember in this compensation plan, the more successful you are, like the more successful we are, right? Like we are obviously want it for you, but we're never going to skew you the other way. Like we really do all work together. So I love that. What's your best advice for someone more seasoned, someone that's maybe 3 to 5 years into it?
Stay engaged. The minute you like disengage is distracted. There's so many things that are going on in the world that we can be easily distracted. So the culture and the community of Isagenix is so important. You know, plug into your team calls and get to events, and don't stop doing those things because people are watching you and your team is watching you. So the minute that you stop doing those things, the minute you disengage, the minute you stop posting, the minute you stop prospecting, your team is going to follow you, and energetically they'll feel it.
So true. I absolutely love that. So if you could go back and do anything differently in your 13 years of Isagenix, what would you do? Like 1 or 2 things.
Okay. Well, you know, it's funny because I used to I used to check in with Carol Taylor, because remember, like the person who enrolled me is not doing the business. He's actually still a friend of mine, and he's never gone off auto ship, so he's not dumb, right? But he's never going to put anybody under me. Like his leg is maxed out. But I am forever. That when people say like I was on an inside leg, and so. I don't know if there are people on this call that are even know what that means. Or like, never had one person come, like never saw anything below me from anyone. I built 2 teams. I didn't know any different. I didn't whine about it because I didn't know. I know now, and I'm like, oh my God, that's what that means. But you know what? I'm grateful for it, because now no one can say I'm on an inside leg and I can't do this, because it's not true. And I have a solid business because I have 2 solid teams, right? And I'm forever grateful for the person who enrolled me, regardless of where I am in the tree in Isagenix. He literally changed I text him every now and again. I'm like, he changed my life forever, like just by introducing me to the product. So I could care less where I was placed. But if I could change one thing, I probably would maybe not waste as much time with people who didn't deserve my time, or, you know, just didn't want it bad enough. And I there's still times like I put effort into people, and that's just like what I do, right? Like I want to see it for them, right? But if they can't see it for themselves, it's hard. But I've gotten better at that, reading people, reading past the excuses, like understanding, like, you can see right through the excuses after a while because they're all the same, right? But I don't know if I would change that much because it was all a learning experience. And if I didn't go through all of that, I wouldn't know what was working and what wasn't, right? I did a call with Carol Taylor once a month. I would check in with her. And I'm forever grateful for that relationship that I built with her. She is, like, to me, just the wisest woman in Isagenix. Like, and we have a really great friendship, but I would say to her, it was the same call every month. So, Carol, if there was anything that I could do differently, what would you tell me to do? And she said, keep doing what you're doing. Don't waste time with the people who don't deserve your time. Every call is the same. It was literally the same. So, I that would be the only thing. I love my journey, to be honest with you. I'm grateful for the way it is. This has changed my life, my entire family's life. And when people understand the power of network marketing, I always say the money is amazing, right? I could buy things, whatever. I'm not like, I don't have diamonds and furs. It's just not who I am. But the freedom, when my father was sick, to be able to care for him and build this business. I mean, my sister and I used to sit in the hospital and he would laugh and he's like, you girls, and we were able to be there at every second that we were able to be there. Then my mother was sick at the same time. So they were both sick they were in and out of the hospital for 2 years. It was insane. And my sister and I were able to care for them financially, be there for them physically and emotionally. That's more priceless. That's priceless. And more than anything that I could buy is the power of the freedom to be able to do that for your family. Like nothing, like, so whatever my mother wants, she gets. Like, that's just how I feel about what this, she's always like, stop doing these things. And I'm like, you gave me life. I wouldn't be here doing this if it wasn't for you. So that to me is so powerful. And we're all going to, unfortunately, be in a position where, our parents get older and, whether it's grandparents or parents or whoever it is that you care for. I've watched people struggle with not being able to be there and have to work a job, and you have to work extra jobs. Like it's how do the elderly survive, right, on Social Security? Like, if it wasn't for my sister and our Isagenix business, my mother would be living off of Social Security. Like, how is that, but that's what people do, right? But we have the power to change that for our entire family and other people's families. So to me, that's like, you can't take that for granted. You just can't. You have to get out there and do this business. Like, you're literally saving people's lives.
I aligned with that so much. And for anyone that was there when I trained in Nashville, and I talked very similarly, that I had no idea the power of this business when I started. And similarly, but different, I was a broke nutritionist and personal trainer, and an extra $100 was a lot of money. And when I started making a couple of extra thousand with Isagenix, and I was dividing that, the hourly wage for a spin class, and thinking like, oh my gosh, I just struck gold. I had no idea what was down the pipeline. I had no idea. In 2013, no one said I would be my dad's caregiver, and exactly what you're talking about, and that freedom. And I remember like driving on Mondays. That was the day I was often with him, and getting paid like on my drive to his house and go let my stepmom have some, time off. And I would be there, and it was like, you just got paid today. And I would just cry, thinking I didn't have to ask, a boss to like give me the day off. I didn't have to reschedule clients, and people don't really get that. And I love you're touching on that, because sometimes I think when we're really excited about the opportunity, and people do kind of think it's this hype game, or that it's like to buy all of these things. And I've seen that with Jessica too. One of my like favorite stories of hers, which is like a gut wrencher, but it's so true, is when she saw her oldest daughter basically had high waters, and she's like, I'm missing it. Like, she was working so much in her corporate America job, like she was missing it. And it's not to say she's not working her tail off now, but like she has all the time in the world, and she can stay up at 2 o'clock in the morning and never miss a kid's event again. And people don't get that, you know, and really truly the beauty and the power of that. And I was on the phone with a girl the other day, much like you're talking about, with people that you want it so badly and they just like don't get it. And she's like, I'm going to do this Etsy business, or I'm trying to make this YouTube channel. And I just like wanted to shake her, you know, and think like, oh my gosh, this is not that hard. Like 10 years from now, what this can look like and the things you're not going to be able to do. But I think it's really important that you touched on that we cannot want it more for other people, and just being able to move that energy into finding the ones that really do. And that's frustrating. And there's enough people out there. I mean, look at this call, you know, I mean, we almost always have 100 people on, but the size of all of our teams, yours and Jessica's and mine, I mean, we're over 300,000 for sure, you know, maybe closer to 400,000. I don't know the size of your team right now, Jess, you know, and to think that like, we're pushing on more than 250,000 or 500,000 people that have said yes to this. I mean, that is the proof, you guys, of how many people want this. You know, you're on here on a Monday night for the products and the business. So that's amazing. I think you're going to say something, and I have one last question for you. Okay, so maybe not. So I just, as much as you know, and your business acumen, and you guys, like Alexis has gotten into real estate now, you know, she is, she's very, very, very successful. And so this next question, I want you to really just lean into the credence of it. But when so many people have joined network marketing in the last few years, especially since the pandemic, and really seen this profession, why do you still think Isagenix is the best company? Like, why will you never leave? Why is there nothing like it besides here?
Well, number one is the community and the culture of Isagenix, right? Like down, there's nothing like it. I mean, if you've ever been to a live event, which, you know, you think it's a little strange in the beginning, right? Your first one, you're like, these people are weird. And then you're like jumping up and down and hugging and kissing people. But our products are like, I've never gone a day without a shake in the morning. And I mean, all of the collagen, I wish I could inject it into my bloodstream, you know, and the hair revival. I mean, just the products are just incredible. I mean, when you watch people's transformations, to me, and you get text messages from people about our products that have changed their lives, and they're, I mean, practically crying, some people, you know, that to me, the products, you know, are everything. And I don't care what anyone says, like, and I never if people say, well, what's this compared to this company? And I'm like, I don't know about that company. All I know is that Isagenix is the best. And then I'll tell them why Isagenix is the best. I don't compare with other companies. I just don't do that. So, you know, the leadership that we have, you know, just the support. I mean, we have it all here. We literally have it all. Did we lose you?
Let's go and hop on to her call. You guys stay on for 1 second. Alexis, thank you so much for being here. Is there anything else you want to say? Any closing tips? Any final words for these amazing teams?
Well, I would definitely look on Isagenix events and check out where it doesn't have to be like in your backyard. Success is not convenient. So get to whatever events, get to as many events as you can, get that energy going, and that will help build momentum, get with your teams. And I so appreciate you guys having me on tonight. You know, I love everything about what you guys are doing as a team, and you're all just amazing. I appreciate you both.
Well, you're amazing. Will you guys put a 10 in the chat if you are like in absolute awe of this and found so much value? And please stay on for just a couple minutes with Jess and I. But Alexis, thank you so much. It's such a treat to have you on, and we continue to learn from you. And the fact that you're not financially linked to us and just pouring your heart and soul into us away from your own team call, what a gift. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone. Tell everybody on your team hi. All right, you guys, I know that she had another, her call that we stole her away from. So I wanted to make sure that she was able to go and be with her call. But first of all, I hope you guys got a lot of value out of that. I mean, I've continued to learn from their team and their systems for over the years, and that's a treat. And when we can have someone, you know, of that caliber and that success to just say, like, I want you guys to be successful, and I'm going to tell you everything that I know in order to help you, I mean, that is truly the epitome of the culture here at Isagenix. And when you really start to understand this, that we are not financially linked, not even like how I joke that we have Isa cousins and everybody goes up to Janny. I mean, it's nothing at all. And she was like, when I asked, she said, absolutely, when do you need me to do it? And that is so, so, so special. So I wanted to just quickly bring it back to the hair revival and the free shipping and the push week. If you guys need to hop off right now, you're welcome to. If you're like, how do I really go for it? And what do I really need to do? I encourage you to stay on. But what I can tell you is this business works in seasons. Okay. So there's like seasons of growth, there's seasons of momentum. You know, when people come out of New Year's and everybody wants to lose weight, right? I mean, January is a big month. I mean, statistically in health and wellness, but it's a big month for Isagenix. July and August, even though, you know, Jess and I are on this mission to debunk these slow seasons, realistically, people are on vacation, they're out of their, you know, habits. Like June and July have not been with health and wellness as big as January, et cetera, et cetera. But within those seasons, there are times that, you know, we come out of an event, we're in a 30-day sprint, or we come out, we're in a 90-day game plan. And most effectively in the last couple of years, there have been what we call these push weeks, and just saying all boats rise with the tides. And we are capable of so much in 5 days, in 7 days, when we all do it together, right? So there have been times that like, I'm like, man, I'm going for a big rank advancement, but if I don't have Kathy and Sheila and Teresa and Laura and Holly and Cindy and April and everybody running with me, you can only do so much, right? So it's like, I'd be going for a rank advancement. And then Laura's like, oh, I'm going to push this week. I'm like, oh, I'm in Mexico, you know, and Keith is like, oh, I'm going to push this week. I'm like, Ryan and I are out of town. And Jess laid it out perfectly. And the company's been talking about the launch week that I encourage you guys to, number one, check in with your mentor, check in with, I do not like the word upline, but check in with your leader, your mentor, and declare some audacious goals. We do our power hours on Monday mornings, and I had some girls tell me, I'm going for the 5-cycle bonus. I'm enrolling 5 people this week. I'm hitting Crystal Director. I'm hitting 1-star for the first time. I'm hitting 2-star for the first time. And these are stretch goals, and they're intended to be, okay? So I want you to just say, like, what can I really do in 7 days with a new product and free shipping? Who can I serve and who can hold me accountable? And once you've declared that, then I want you to think about who in your organization you're bringing with you, okay? So I know what Leah is gonna do this week. I know what Kathy's gonna do. I know what Laura's gonna do. I mean, they have like declared this, and it's awesome. But then I said, okay, Laura, who are you grabbing? You need 3 or 4 people. Who's going manager? Who's going director? Who's going executive? Who's going 1-star? And drive the line and drive the line and drive the line. So the only way that you're going to rise up is by reaching down and bringing as many people with you as you can. Now, I realize some of us do this full time. I know some of us do this in the very, very, very pockets of our part-time, but these are the weeks to buckle down and go. I mean, I will tell you, Jess and I know she's cleansing, we're going to be texting late tonight, and we're going to be texting early in the morning because we're excited about this. And this is what I'm going to tell you. If you don't talk to people about hair revival, somebody else is. I mean, like literally a girl today was like, I want to reach out to this girl. I'm like, then do it. Because do you know how upset you're going to be when she goes, oh, I just bought it from so-and-so that already reached out to them. And these are the times to just have fervor and have excitement and to go first. So for those of you that are brand new, make a list of 5, 10, 15, 20 names, you know, and voice text them. Let them hear your excitement. Let them hear your passion, and just say, hey, I know it's early in the morning. Hey, I know it's late at night, but I wanted to be the first to tell you about this revolutionary product. We have a patent on it. I mean, this banana flower extract is going to make your hair go bananas. If you have any questions, I can drop a video in here. You know, I can get you the best pricing, but I wanted you to be the first to get your hands a hold of this. You know, I've been in a beta group. I've been in the trial group. My friend has been in the trial group. It's incredible. I wanted you to hear it from me first, okay? Then all of your current customers, all of your past customers, make another list. Your verbiage is a little bit different. Hey, I know you've used Isagenix in the past. If you've not, taken a look at what we've been doing, the company is unrecognizable. It is so sexy. It is so fun. And our beauty wellness is top notch. I would love, love, love to be the first to introduce you, to reintroduce you to the company, to check out this product. hey, you haven't ordered in a while, but I want you to check this product out. I want you to check it out. You don't have to, change your lifestyle. You don't have to do a cleanse day. You just got to take a couple pills in the morning and at night and have this, thick, shiny, luscious hair. I mean, voicemail them, get them excited. But you're going to do new. You're going to do your past customers. You're going to do your current customers. Then as these orders start to come in midweek, and everybody's enrolling and you see in the volume going through, then you're reaching back into your teams and you're really driving the volume. You're helping people. Like, I can look at Kathy's business and be like, girlfriend, you've got all this volume on the other side. Let's run with these people so we can get you to 1 star. You're this many orders away. You're this many PV away. Who in your team hasn't reached out to people yet? Who in your team can we do a pop-up virtual party with? And driving the line and driving the line and driving the line. And it starts with the products. And then you have some people come on board. Okay. So I have a girl who I enrolled last week with the collagen. She messaged me earlier today. She goes, oh my gosh, I just bought the collagen. I should have waited. I want the hair revival. And I said, no, timing is always perfect. So I voice memo her. I said, honey, we're going to sign up your husband and get the hair product through your husband. Now you're only one away from getting $200 back. The product's going to be free anyways. Tell me, one girlfriend that wants to use the hair product or use the collagen with you. She's like, oh my gosh, I know a lot more than one girlfriend. I was like, perfect. Put them all in a text thread with me. You guys, why I was on the call with Alexis and all of you, she just put me in a text thread with like 8 of her friends and she used the verbiage I gave her. I've been using this collagen. I love it. This is what I've noticed. This same amazing company is launching this hair revival tomorrow. I'm definitely trying it. If anybody's up for trying it with me, my friend can get you free shipping, right? All these girls are like, oh my God, how do I order? What is it? Tell me more. Like, they're dropping the pictures in there. And then the power of the numbers. If 1 does it, if 2 does it, guess what starts to happen, right? And you have this ripple effect. And so as we go into this push week, like, make an intention. If you're brand new, like you just ordered the products, you're brand new, find your first 2 people, go consult it, blow your mind and bring in 3, 4, 5 people in your first week because we have a promotion and a brand new product. But at bare minimum, go consultant, find 2 people, right? If you're a brand new consultant, you have someone on your right, you have someone on your left. Guess what? This is the week to go manager. Help those 2 people find their 2 people. It's about duplication. Use PVC. Say, hey, it is so fun to get these products for free. Do you have 5 minutes that I can walk you through how you can get your products for free? There's got to be 2 people in your life that are like so excited about what you're doing. Let me show you what to say. Let me show you what to send. Would you be open to me walking you through how to earn a couple of $100? I want so many people to hop on board with this. Okay. For those of you that have gone manager, you've done this. You've done it twice. Guess what? Keep doing it. You just do it again and again and again and again to hit director. Executive, it is 10 people that know 2. We overcomplicate this all the time. I have a girl right now. She is 16 days away from her crystal director bonus. She has 2 consultants. If you guys think she can create 4 consultants in the next 16 days, put a 1 in the chat, because I absolutely know that she can create 4 consultants in 16 days, right? I mean, we have seen amazing things happen with intention and power. And when you declare it and you say, you know what, everybody I enroll comes in with 2, everybody I know brings in 2 friends. As I enroll them, I'm going to ask them right away, who are 2 people that you're doing, are doing this with you. Lisa Berry, 8 consultants last week. You guys, I mean, that's amazing. It is so possible. And so just commit, like, go right now before you go to bed. Tell your husbands, tell your wives, tell your kids and say, I'm going to be on my phone a lot this week. I'm going to get up early. I'm going to stay up late because this is what I'm doing for my family. And I know what's possible in 7 days. Declare something audacious and just go for it. And then I'll personally send Jessica a stack of paper and a new ink cartridge. So when she goes through recognition next week, and some cough drops, she's probably going to have some laryngitis because of what's going to happen in these 2 teams. And I will just close with this. If that's overwhelming and you somewhere between Latin left and consultant German right, you're like, I have no idea what Lauren said, have the courage to reach out to one of us and say, can you map out a rank advancement for me? Like Anne and Holly and Brandy and Nikki and Jess and Laura and me and Kisa. I mean, you guys, we've been doing this. We know what we're doing. Just have the courage and say, I want to go for it. Can you walk me through what I need to do? Give me the roadmap. I can tell you there is not anything that lights any one of us up more, except when you actually hit the goal, than to give you the plan. All right. So just reach out and we will tell you how many conversations you need to have, how many enrollments, if they need to go on your right or left, who on your team needs something to make it happen. And it's going to be an amazing, amazing week. So have fun with it. Be excited, be enthusiastic, and just fall in love with the process that you have this amazing opportunity and these amazing products, and you get to go first to go share it with the world. Thank you guys so much for hopping on Monday night. Have a great night. We'll see you guys next week. Mwah.